This is a book that I wanted to like more, and I am a little sad that I was disappointed in it. But to be fair, it is in the romance genre, and that is typically not my favorite of the genres. But with a time travel element and going back to samurai era Japan, I thought maybe it would still give me some of the fantasy vibes that I normally like to read. Also, I found it at the little book/gift store connected to our local Asian market, and it looked very beautiful. It has these sakura blossoms on the edge, and I felt like a nice light read, so I grabbed it. This is Gate to Kagoshima by Poppy Kuroki. I probably should have said that at first. It's very new, it hasn't been out very long. I believe this is also her debut novel, and it's the first in a series she's calling the Ancestor Memories series. So, speaking of ancestors, the author Poppy and main character Isla both come from Scotland. The author lives in Japan, but unlike the author, the main character Isla has Japanese ancestry. Her grandfather is Japanese, and supposedly her third great-grandfather, so a couple more generations back, lived in Satsuma during samurai times. In fact, during the Satsuma Rebellion. So Isla is pretty convinced that she has samurai ancestry. She would like to know more, so she travels from Scotland to Japan to try to learn everything she can about her family history. She is also running away from a broken heart, some relationship that didn't work out. And as far as a romance novel and fitting in with accepted romance tropes, I thought it started pretty strong. She's in a new place. She mostly speaks the language. She goes into a cafe and meets a cute guy, and she forgets to even ask him his name, and then goes out and gets caught in a typhoon where she tries to take refuge in a shrine, which is what takes her back in time. So part of what drew me to this is that I really love the movie The Last Samurai, and it felt like it was going to be kind of like the movie The Last Samurai, but more specifically for a female audience who wanted a little more romance to the story. And I feel like part of what let me down a little bit was that it was so light on the actual romance. I don't usually buy a book that is a romance as the main plot line. I usually prefer when it's subplot, background, an extra thread to the overall story. But when I thought it was supposed to be the main thing and then it wasn't, I felt like I had been lied to a little bit. Like, here's the main girl and here's the guy that I learn about on the back, and why isn't there more romantic tension between them? What's going on? Do they even like each other? I don't know, it was hard to tell. And then I felt like I wanted a little more of the like atmospheric ancient Japan kind of lifestyle, and it was more very specific to what the main character Isla was doing. She just showed up in ancient Japan. They think she's either an evil spirit or a spy, but there's a family who takes her in and she's expected to work, and so she goes to work every day. So it was kind of like slice of life, but not necessarily the slice that I wanted. And then Isla is supposedly having this romance with this guy from this time period. And even though she's not a historian and she hasn't really studied the Satsuma Rebellion in depth, she knows enough to know that the samurai are going to lose. She already knows. She knows the future. She knows that this will not end happy for the people that she is getting to know and making relationships with. And so it's just like this sense of impending doom, which I'm not sure really lends itself that well to a romance story. And towards the end, when the samurai are on the move, Isla goes with them, still trying to figure out how her great-great-great-grandfather fits in with the people that she's with. There is lots of fighting, some kind of gory scenes, and even though it was so light on the romance, there's a couple of pretty tame but still present spicy scenes. So places where I expected it to cut to black and not show anything, it does, but it's not as detailed of a description as some of the spicy romance that's out there nowadays. Someone who normally reads that kind of stuff will think that this is like nothing. Someone who prefers not to read those types of scenes will have an easy time just skimming over it. It did seem like Kuroki had done her research and knew the details of the time period she was writing in pretty well. Not that I know a ton, but in the back she has dates of when things happened, and she seemed to know enough details about the daily life of the people to show that she had done her research. So the story was not bad. It was not terrible. It was not some big epic sweeping romance like the back kind of led me to believe. I think it would be perfectly good for like a vacation or beach read, or for a quick in-between other bigger books, which is what I used it for. I don't think I'm going to keep it though. I don't think this is going to be one that I ever feel like rereading, and despite how beautiful it is, I don't think I need to keep it on my shelf. So it will probably make its way into an unhaul. It will find its way into one of our local little free libraries at some point. If it sounded interesting enough that you would still like to try it because you like a nice simple romance story, I will put a link for it in the description of the video. I do support people supporting authors. Thank you to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. I'll put a link to my Patreon and my Instagram also in the description, and happy reading. Bye.